Sega's final console did a lot of things really well, especially when it comes to the light gun. I am the Game Collector, and this is Second Opinion Games, and today I review 3 light gun games for the Sega Dreamcast.
Second Opinion Games.
Okay, here are my light guns. Now, there are plenty more, but these are the ones I use. The Starfire and the Pelican. Both have D-pads on them, but I do like the location of this one a little bit more. Both have spots for a VMU, and they both have different buttons throughout, including reload buttons and triggers. This one has more of a hair trigger and hair reload, and this one you have to pull the trigger a bit more. They're both accurate, about the same distance, 5 to 6 feet away from your TV, and this one has a 6-foot cord, while this one has a 5. Overall, I recommend the Pelican a lot more. It does have a thing to turn on and off rumble, and just feels really comfortable despite looking kind of stupid. And the weight is about the same on both as well. So if I had to pick one, I would go with this one. Okay, bye. In confidential missions, an evil organization took control of a weaponized space laser satellite. I think that goes against many different international laws. And you play as a very similar to James Bond character, trying to basically get the codes back and regain control of said satellite. In your mission, you'll go through lots of really cool places, like a museum, because this is the best place you should ever have a shootout amongst priceless artifacts. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure that the bad guys knew that you were going to have a shootout in this museum, because they even put machine guns in sarcophaguses and different things alike. This is just an implausible place to ever have this much action, and it really shouldn't be done. Also, do you really think you should wear a tux everywhere if you are a secret agent? I mean, it's really kind of hard to blend in when you're dressed up like that. And it really can't be that comfortable and maneuverable on top of it. Confidential Missions has a very arcade feel, and that was done because it's a straight port of an arcade game. There are different branching paths, usually connected to small mini-games inside of the game. Usually these are tests of skill and accuracy, but sometimes they're just how fast can you pull the trigger and shoot the gun. When I play this game, I usually play with the automatic reload on, but I don't go full machine gun on this one. It really takes away, some of the gameplay itself. The second level takes place on a train, and I am a real sucker for train levels in video games in general, but this one takes it to a whole new experience as it then rips off Die Hard 2 super hard with snowmobile shootouts while on the train, which is the best of both possible worlds. It makes the action very fun and exciting, and I love it, which makes me even hurt more when I see the final level just goes to a very generic base-like scenario where you're just mowing down people as fast as possible. It's really frustrates me how they put so much thought into the first level and the second level just to totally drop the ball on the last level of the game. However, the end boss, they really didn't drop the ball on. They have this guy decorated in TV screens, which he then uses to go invisible. Yes, this fight is somewhat annoying, but I love how crazy the concept is. And at the very, very end, it's one of those games where you have just one shot to use that space laser to take out your enemy. And I fuddled with the controls and just couldn't get the job done, so I guess he got away. Oh well. Overall, Confidential Missions is a great way to show that the Dreamcast really had some personality to it, but it isn't truly as iconic as our next game, House of the Dead 2. Yes, when it comes to killing zombies, this is probably one of the best games there is. There, of course, is the original arcade mode, but I actually enjoyed playing what they call original mode. It's the same as arcade mode, but there's different power-ups throughout the game. And these power-ups don't make your player stronger in the game you're currently playing. It's for future games down the road to maybe add a little bit more power or maybe even a few rounds in the chamber. Personally, I like playing this game setting my light gun to fully automatic, meaning that I have a machine gun just ready to mow down zombies as fast as I possibly can. Also, check out that green blood. Like, it makes things far less violent if the blood just changes freaking color. And having some of the most laugh-out-loud voice acting ever in video games. Also, as a backdrop, some of the most heart-pumping, thumping music I've ever heard. Just listen to the sounds and tell me this doesn't get you amped up, and then make you laugh your butt off when you hear some of the corny dialogue.
How could anyone do this?
I don't want to die.
My God.
Don't come! Don't come! Go away! Go away! Please, help him!
Don't kill me! No! No!
Help me! Help me!
Thanks. You can get outside that way.
When it comes to replayability, few light gun games have this one beat, as the branching paths are often and everywhere, usually assigned to people within the level. If you save them, you'll go one way, and if you don't save them, you'll go a completely different way. I've played this game so many times, and I have never played through it this same way more than once. It's just amazing how the game is so fresh because of this simple play factor. Now, anyone that has really played this game knows where it truly shines is the boss battles. They are inventive, and Sega was truly on the top of their game on this one. One of the characters that really gives me a heart attack every time is the guy with the chainsaw. His movements are so jittery and erratic. It just makes me scream with horror every time I see it. The first boss of the game is so cool, and I love the little voice modifications added in there as well. And this total package was so good, it actually inspired some other edutainment games, like Typing of the Dead, which teaches you how to type with zombies. Pretty impressive, but that wasn't the only one. No, in Japan only, they got a version called English of the Dead, teaching people English with zombies. Freaking hilarious. House of the Dead 2 is certainly iconic, and the only game I could possibly think of that can give it a run for its money in the arcades was Virtua Cop 2, but we never got that on the Dreamcast. Oh wait, we did? Sega Smash Pack Volume 1 boasts 12 great games on one disc. But there's some problems with that. For one, Wrestler War, I think, is completely awful and unplayable. Other games on this disc, like Sonic the Hedgehog, just don't feel right. Some of the slowdown that was on the Genesis isn't there now, which sounds pretty good, but it does change the feel. Also, the music plays awkwardly, making me think that this isn't running at full speed. Other games like Alter Beast, some of the sound effects have completely changed, and it really doesn't feel right to me, and I've definitely played lots of Alter Beast. No, the only games I really recommend playing on this at all is Sega Swirl, which is a very throwaway title that's for the puzzle fanatics in all of us, and of course, Virtua Cop 2. Jumping into Virtua Cop 2, you'll see that it's only 3 levels long, and each one is about 10 minutes. The signature zooming camera is everywhere, showing you which character is going to actually hit you next, so it kind of guides you to pick them off in a certain order. Now, innocent bystanders will jump out at the most stressful times. So if you see a long chain of enemies, then you have to know they're going to throw a regular person in there somewhere, eating away at your health and life. This is why I choose to play the game with the normal light gun settings. However, in the options, you can set it up to automatically reload. And if you're playing on easy, the hitboxes for the villains are really big, meaning that you're probably never gonna miss. Now, there are some exploding barrels as you play through the game, and some power-ups hidden in crates. But just like the first Virtual Cop game, it keeps track of your weapon accuracy, and not all crates break open, unfortunately. So if you're playing for that accurate rating, well, then you're not really going to be looking for the extra weapons hidden around, and that actually decreases the fun of the game. The second level of the game is on a boatyard, which is kind of fun. And the last level of the game is on a subway, which I think we can all admit isn't really nearly as good as a train level. And then to a very generic enemy base. And generic is really a good word for this, especially the last boss of the game, which is really lackluster and not a whole lot of thought put into him. The voice acting here isn't as over-the-top bad as House of the Dead 2, and I actually kind of miss that. I wish that they would pick one or the other. Make it really good or make it really bad. Being in between just makes it feel like there's no personality here. There are branching paths here, but you could only choose them once per level, so replayability here isn't very high. However, the car chase scene on level 1 is by far my favorite, and you could even shoot out the tires of some of your enemies, causing their cars to explode. This is actually really cool, and I even like the final boss on level 1, where he eventually throws a coffee truck at you. How they aced this first level so much and then drop the ball in the rest of the game completely baffles me. Now, this isn't all of the Dreamcast light gun games, and not all of them are worth playing, like Death Crimson OX, which is probably the most generic light gun game I have ever played. But the Dreamcast does have lots of great games, and it did it in a very short lifespan, especially when it comes to the light gun. Some of the best arcade shooters ever made have been brought to this console, and it is a must-have for any die-hard collector. And all of these games are pretty much worth playing to this day. And that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. I had a great time making it. And you know what? I'm not done with the light gun. So if I haven't talked about your favorite console or your favorite light gun game yet, just let me know what is out there. Maybe I don't have it, but chances are I already do and plan on it in the future. So until later, I will see you again, guys.